Savannah, a stunning 23-year-old woman, had recently relocated to Sydney in Australia. Her family's support provided her with the opportunity for a fresh start in a city vastly distinct from her previous residence. Everything was a novel experience for her: the people, the natural surroundings, and the bustling streets. With the limited funds her parents had provided, Savannah settled into an apartment complex situated close to a forest, as it resonated with her as the nearest semblance of home. One day, Savannah's new friend Jamie told her that he found a snake in his closet and didn't know what to do. Luckily, Savannah knew how to handle snakes, so she agreed to help. Jamie warned her that the snake might be dangerous, but Savannah was confident and said she had experience with snakes back home. They went to Jamie's apartment, and Savannah quickly caught the snake. Jamie was surprised at how calmly she handled it. Savannah took the snake and released it into the forest. Jamie paid her for the job, which was the first money she earned since coming to Sydney. She called her parents to share the good news, and they congratulated her for starting a new life there. On the phone, her father said, "I'm so proud of you, darling. Your life is really turning around for the better. Remember where you were just a few months ago. Be grateful that you aren't still there now." Savannah's dad was right. Just a few months ago, Savannah lived near Kangaroo Valley, where she grew up. Her dad owned a cattle farm there, and he was also the town's snake catcher. When people needed help getting rid of snakes, her dad would take her along to help. Over time, Savannah got used to dealing with snakes and became really good at it. She learned a lot about snakes and wasn't scared of them at all. She was the only woman who caught snakes in that area, so she got a lot of attention and became famous for her skills. One day, a hotel in town called her for help. They had a big black snake near the tennis courts. Savannah came with her equipment, which was just a big brown bag and some special tongs for handling snakes. To the relief of the hotel guests, Savannah quickly and skillfully removed the snake. Everyone who had been scared and watching from a distance clapped and cheered for her. They were very impressed with what she could do. One guest in particular was intrigued by the beautiful snake catcher. The very handsome man then approached Savannah. He introduced himself as Jack and made a smooth move by asking her on a date to show his appreciation for what she had done. He didn't seem so interested in the snake catcher act, but more so in Savannah for her beauty and radiance. Savannah had always been single and was easily charmed by a mysterious and handsome man. They went on a few dates, and Savannah learned that Jack came from a wealthy and famous family. Even though Savannah was a simple farm girl, she appreciated the fancy gifts and luxurious experiences that Jack provided. Despite the changes in her life, Savannah remained true to herself and continued to pursue her passion for snake catching. However, after they got married, their relationship took a negative turn. Jack began pressuring Savannah to quit working with snakes, claiming it was embarrassing for their social status. Savannah's pet snake didn't like Jack and would act aggressively around him. Although Savannah wanted the relationship to work, she didn't want to give up the one thing she loved. One day, Jack threatened her, saying she'd regret it if she didn't get rid of the snakes. Savannah was frightened by this side of Jack that she hadn't seen before. After the wedding, his true color started to show, and he had a major anger problem that only seemed to get worse. One night, Jack came home completely intoxicated and started to curse at Savannah. He blamed her for his failing business and said she was tarnishing the family's image with her snake catching. Savannah tried to flee with her pet snake, but Jack caught her and hit her. Following this incident, Jack found more reasons for displaying his dominance over Savannah on several occasions. Savannah was devastated and scared for her life. As the tension between the two grew bigger, Jack had a feeling that Savannah was going to find a way to escape from him. He wanted total control over Savannah, and if he couldn't have that, he was going to turn to extremes. One day, Jack spotted a plane ticket in Savannah's purse, and she thought this would send them over the edge. They had a huge argument that lasted forever. But instead of doing what he had always done to Savannah, Jack, being under the influence of alcohol once again, said, "You know what? I'm sick and tired of this. I won't beg you to stay. Get out and take that filthy snake with you." That same night, Savannah got on a plane to Sydney and never looked back. For the next few months, Savannah continued her life in this new city, fascinated by the local wildlife and making new friends. She often shared stories of her snake-catching abilities and her pet snake with her friends, who were amazed by her talents. She even started volunteering at a local animal rescue center to gain more experience working with different types of animals. Unfortunately, tragedy struck one day when Savannah's friend Jamie received a call from Savannah's landlord. They had found Savannah's lifeless body in her apartment, and the cause of death was unknown. Savannah's friends and family were devastated by the news and struggled to come to terms with the sudden loss of such a vibrant and talented young woman. Savannah's pet snake was found unharmed, but there were no signs of foul play or forced entry into her apartment. It seemed as though Savannah had simply passed away, suddenly and unexpectedly. Jack, who was legally still her husband, showed up at the funeral and blamed Savannah's death on the snake, telling them that it bit her and killed her with its venom. Savannah's parents were distraught over the loss of their daughter, but found it hard to believe that her beloved snake could be the cause of death. They attended the funeral along with everyone else from town, but what they saw there was the last thing they ever expected. They laid Savannah's body down into the grave and began to cover her with dirt when suddenly her pet snake appeared. Her father, knowing how much the snake was attached to Savannah, allowed the animal to say its final goodbye. The serpent then wrapped itself around her arm. Jack, who stood nearby, then suddenly said, "Remove that vile creature from her." Savannah's friends and family noticed something strange about her beloved pet snake. The usually docile creature seemed agitated and even aggressive, particularly towards Jack. Some of the attendees couldn't help but wonder if the animal's behavior was a sign of some underlying suspicion or unease, fueling speculation about what truly happened to Savannah, but no one there touched the snake. Curious about why the snake would do such a thing, Savannah's father, who was not afraid of the snake, touched his daughter's hand and was surprised to feel that it was still warm. He quickly wiped off the dirt from Savannah and raised her out of the grave. "My daughter, are you there? Can you hear me? Please say something," he pleaded. What happened next was so bizarre. To everyone's surprise, Savannah suddenly gasped for air and sprung awake. She had been alive this whole time. Everyone screamed with surprise and happiness, while Jack was horrified and fled the scene. Savannah returned to her parents' home to recover. In the weeks that followed, the investigation into her situation continued. The police interviewed everyone who knew Savannah, including her husband, whom they had arrested. Although he had initially cooperated, his story fell apart as it was closely examined. The evidence revealed that Jack had been stalking Savannah for months. He had gained access to her apartment by falsely claiming to be her husband and had attempted to poison her. The jury declared Jack guilty, and he received a life sentence in prison for his attempt to harm Savannah. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments section. Thank you.